And I said,
Should I play with my man?
no, but I said, yes, there will be romance. I just didn't tell you who it was. And now we know.
I watched tomorrow's episode. Look at you.
Yeah.
Having a good time?
With Steven? Yes.
And Steven's great. Like he is such a great addition to the cast. He's working so hard. Like, I mean, he is a pretty face, pretty everything, but he's got so much heart, and he's so eager to like prove himself and get out there and work his butt off, and it's really paying off. He's doing a really good job.
I want him to be my workout buddy, but I'm slightly afraid.
Yeah, he actually ran the Chicago Marathon.
He looks like the statue of David.
Sure, yes, it's true. A little shorter. Yeah, not so much more, but yeah, he's like, he ran the marathon and he trained for a week, and he finished in 4 hours. Trained for a week. So we were like, oh well, we'll cheer you on at the finish line.
Are we going to see you two the most on Chicago Med? Your career on the show? Are you on every episode?
Not on every episode, but we are there quite a bit. Well, you almost
I've been over there at least 4 times now.
Yeah, and were you with Oliver?
Yes, I did work with Oliver, and he's great. He's very professional and very intuitive, and he's a very considerate scene partner. So he really wants to, even when the camera's not on him, he really wants to make sure he's giving you what you need as an actor, which is really, really nice. I don't know. I'm sure that'll happen a little bit, but we don't want to lose out on Fire. You know, like that's where our family is. So we don't want to dilute our relationships with Fire and like what's happening with our storylines over there. But I think the nature of what it is we're trying to do with these 3 shows is try and create a bigger community than just the cast members on each individual show.
Well, and it definitely makes sense. Just because, like, when we were doing our ride-alongs with the ambulance, they take everyone to the hospital. Like, they know everyone in the hospital, and they're friends. You know, they know everyone like on a personal level. So you'll like bring in a patient, and it's just chaos in there. And then someone's in the trauma room. All this crazy stuff is happening. There's like the token drunk person in there, and then like everyone's like washing their hands on the little hand sanitizer station, like, oh, how you doing? How are your kids? Blah 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 blah. So it'll definitely make sense once we become more integrated in that together, because we work closely together because we're all in the medical profession.
Yeah, I think they were joking about giving us T-shirts called Delivery, like Delivery Girls, because we basically just drop off the patients and take the stretcher away, and it's like, oh hi, all right, bye. You deal with that, and we'll go over here. But yeah, I think they're gonna try and build some relationships crossing our company lines. So
Can you guys talk about your relationships to characters who are new to Chicago Med? Have you ever tried that?
Well, I think in this last episode, we kind of build on a relationship with Dr. Halstead, maybe Nick. He's the one who sort of showed us around with the baby, and that we delivered, and kind of comforting us in that. And so, we're sort of saying like this relationship's already established. We know who he is. We've worked with him enough times, and then obviously I got to work with Oliver. But I mean, it'll be interesting. I think they're going to write some more relationship building things, but we got to see him succeed in a couple of surgeries first.
Yeah. Well, and also the politics of our relationship, and the checks and balances of like, are you filling out your paperwork correctly and everything like that? Because it's not all just, oh, yes, you are saving people's lives, but every time you have a patient, you have to fill out a chart for them of every operation you performed on them, like what all medications you gave them and stuff. And so doctor telling me that I don't know how to do my job just because I don't have a degree and stuff like that. So that'll be
vice
fun.
versa.
And vice versa. So that'll be really fun to explore. Yeah, and then some of the doctors are like, okay, I don't need everyone telling me how to do my job either, you know? So there's going to be a lot of like that kind of It's not all fun and games. Okay.
Sylvie has had a lot of challenges, and she's done some reckless things. I think as an adult, maybe that kind of stuff. But she always seems to maintain her sort of base humanity and her caring for people. Is there anything that could happen that could maybe take that away from her?
You know what? I think probably we will get into that territory at some point. But I think right now, you know, as evidenced by the first couple of episodes, you know, she comes from Indiana. She's used to a certain type of emergencies, and obviously she's sort of building her chops all through last season. And Mills is sort of coaching her through, like, look, you've got to thicken up because I need you to function. But I think that it doesn't matter how many years you do the job. There's always going to be that one person or that one patient that maybe pulls on your heartstrings unexpectedly, and you have to figure out how to keep your compassion. Because if you lose it, you shouldn't do the job. We just did the Halloween, and I presented an award to this incredible paramedic named Albert Medina, and he's been doing it for 10 years, and he was like, I tell everyone in the job, once you lose your compassion, you need to quit, because if you lose it, you just become, you really can't do the job, because you need to be able to feel it out. But I think at the same time, if you can't leave it at work, it can really destroy you. It can be really destructive if you take it home with you. And you've got like your personal life going on, and then you put this kind of job on top of that. It's a lot of stress, and it takes a really special person to be able to do it. So I think that this season is really going to be pushing that dynamic for Sylvie, because she's got so much heart. I think they're going to keep testing the balance to see, you know, how far can we push her, and she's not always going to bounce back. You know, she's sometimes at some point they're going to push her over the edge, and that's part of being a human.
I really love the female relationship dynamic between you two. I think the shows across all three shows do so well with females. They're not in contention. What's that like, playing that friendship?
It's awesome having kind of the three girls of the house, myself and Brett and Dawson, and how solid we are for each other. You know, like, even like we'll have disagreements as friends, but like what makes a good friend is when someone will tell you when you're wrong. But it's never like catty girl drama or anything like that. We're really solid, we're really there for each other. And I think that it's good. Like, I feel like our characters are all really good role models, you know? Like, it's another way of being. You don't have to be catty and care about being pretty. Like, you can be tough as nails, and you can be a hero, and you can still giggle with your girlfriends at, like, the coffee pot, you know?
Well, and I think, too, like, it is very nice, just as actresses, getting to play female roles. I mean, obviously we're big roles, but getting to play roles where we're not fighting with each other. I mean, because it's just such an easy go-to, and it can be not as creative, because, you know, at least in this job, that wouldn't fly. Nobody would get away with that. You wouldn't be able to do the job if there was that much tension and you didn't have each other's back. I mean, you'd be fired. You know, like there's no room for that kind of drama in the house. We saw some of that last year between Squad and Fire, or between Squad and the Engine, and it doesn't work. You know, when you come to an emergency, it just isn't functional in an environment where you need to save people's lives. You've got to put that stuff aside. So I appreciate that they've written it so that we get along for the most part.
Well, and when we show up, it's just each other. We are all we have on some of our calls. So